Hello and welcome to Tech Tuesday. My name is Sarah Shea. I'm a tech coach up in program, and today the tech team is in the back channels answering your questions. So you're either on a document or within the social media. We're going to be speaking about collaboration tools online, specifically OneNote class notebook. So we're going to be examining some strategies today around that. So just give me a minute to flip over and move screens here. In our session today, we are going to be talking about collaboration within the OneNote app in Office 365. If you have any questions throughout this session, please feel free to either use social media such as Twitter and Yammer, ask questions there, and we'll provide our feedback as long as you are using the hashtag DP chats after your question, then we'll be able to find and locate it and answer back. You can also use the document link provided and have your questions answered there. Just be sure to write your name in the tab up before you write your question so we know who to answer to and who we're speaking to. So I'll just give you a minute to settle in. Open up the tabs, one to communicate with us and one to watch the Tech Tuesday. So as we know, one of the main fluencies of being a 21st century learner is the ability to collaborate and communicate with other learners and with our teachers. Students of the digital age are social by nature. They text, post, update, chat, and co-create in their virtual environments. So this is something they're doing on a daily basis, not just interacting in the class, but they're also doing this all the time outside of it. So we know that communication and collaboration with others is essential for student learning. Communication is multifaceted and it has many levels of interaction, and it really helps students to build their knowledge and gain information from one another. It is more than just being able to use effective digital media tools, but it's also about making connections. So one thing is that we are now looking at their ability to communicate, not just with text or speech, but in multiple media formats. So they must be able to communicate visually through videos, through pictures and hyperlinks, audio recordings, and they're finding different connections to build into their knowledge. So they're really finding a way in online virtual environments to enhance the learning. Today we are going to be talking about OneNote class notebook. So one of the great things about this is obviously it's on Office 365 and there's some great apps within there that students are able to collaborate with already. So they're used to the platform and the interface by the time they get to a OneNote class notebook. They're able to access OneNote from multiple devices and they can integrate a mix of multimedia. So they're able to enhance, as we were saying, with the video, the pictures, the hyperlinks. On the teacher's end of things, they can collaborate and provide feedback to students on tasks and assignments or group work. They can follow along with what they're doing and really engage with the students in class and outside of class. Students are also able to collaborate on class projects or build upon inquiries within their investigations. So they're able to go in and have a space that they can build upon their research or just build within their own personal notebooks. So the OneNote here is the student's very own digital notebook, but it offers a lot of different aspects to it that the regular notebook wouldn't. So it enhances the learning in some way or another. When we see here, there are three sections and we can see them up at the top: the collaboration space, the content library, and then a personal notebook for the student. Each of these sections provide its own unique permissions for the user coming in. So the collaboration space here is a really great space for both the teacher and students to edit content And this is also great for shared groups or classroom projects, whether students are coming in to brainstorm a list of ideas or possibly gathering research and information to organize and create their final presentation or product. So there's a lot of different reasons. It all depends on the purpose and what subject that they're analyzing or focusing on. The content library here is a storage space, is a place where information goes into, and this is something that's controlled by the teacher. So the teachers edit the content, but students can only view or copy the content within here. This area can be used for possibly distributing tests, assignments, or other course material. The students could be coming in here and picking up rubrics and copying them and placing them into their own library. Moving back into the personal notebook, you'll see up here that I can see the students that are placed within this notebook. However, when the students come in, they're only going to see these two spaces and their own name. Within the students' personal notebook, there's a different tabs that have been designed by the teacher, and within sections, they can then design and add pages of how they want to create their notebook. So there's a few different things that they can do in here, but one of the great things about this student book is that teachers can come in, they can give feedback, they can see what the students are doing in class in real time, or what they've been doing outside of class and how they're developing or working on projects. So it's a great place for the student themselves to store their content and to work with other peers within the class, but another place to get feedback from the teacher. Today we're going to be working on multiplying and dividing monomials. You're going to start looking at what the important pieces of information are. You're going to organize it in this way. I'm going to go ahead and put -5 to the second first, since we write our constant first. Any questions? Would I ever go back to teaching with a traditional binder where the kids have all of those papers? No. OneNote helps to give students that scaffolding that they need to keep themselves organized and then to transition that technological organization into the kind of organization that they make in their mind. Along with being able to share my notebook, I can also see the kids' notebooks. If I have a kid that's struggling, I can keep their notebook open all the time.
It makes differentiation incredibly seamless. We can sit with a student, change something on their tablet, we can push it out to them electronically. It helps students remain a part of the learning community without being called out.
With Office 365, my colleagues and I can work together in OneNote at the same time, which is really cool.
We're able to update the notebook either sitting together in our own classrooms or even from home in real time and see what each other is doing.
And when they collaborate for research, it's really easy for them to share with each other. They're like, oh yeah, we can share this, because they see us sharing all the time.
I'm thinking of a couple of girls who said, can we create our own OneNote notebook to study together? They began to initiate using OneNote for themselves in ways that push their academics.
OneNote has made me a better teacher because I'm more organized, I use my time better.
For me, I think it helps me be more present to the students in the classroom. I'm not worried about, is everything ready? Actually, I focus on their learning at that moment.
So I think one of the most important things is I'm seeing that the students are working and collaborating in the notebook in class and outside of the class. And the students are working together, but the teachers are also coming in and helping the students learn along the way. So when we're thinking about the One Notebook, it's definitely a great place that students can go in and organize their information in some way or another, to be able to create a to-do list in which they know what they have to get done as a group, and the teachers themselves can come in and then give assessment or feedback to the groups as they move along. So the students come in here to collaborate on group projects. They make sure they have everything they need done. Teachers provide the feedback within either the collaboration space or within students' personal notebooks, depending on what assignment they're doing. And students can use resources from the content library to guide instruction. So if they're going into that content library that the teacher is building and editing, they can pull that into their notebooks and help it guide their own instruction. So in a way, they're collaborating with the content itself. And then the great thing about it, obviously, is that it stores the course material. We're now paperless in that way that they can see their learning journey throughout and keep on adding to it. It's the never-ending journal, never-ending paper, and they can add as many sections and as many pages within each section. So really, it's whatever they need it to be, and it's added with the multimedia that comes on top of just having that regular piece of paper. Now you have this blank whiteboard that you can do so much with. Besides the fact of students collaborating, we really need to start thinking of the fact that we can also use this as teachers to collaborate with our departments, with our teaching partners, and we can go paperless ourselves. We can share our course content and provide feedback to one another and what we think, right? You can see that we can organize our schedules, we can organize our week's agenda and see what the other person is doing. And we can arrange our content in any way we wish and enhance it with videos and pictures, audio recordings, or hyperlinks to other useful links on the web. So that leads me to the idea of we can collaborate teacher to teacher, we can collaborate student to student, we can collaborate now with teacher to student. But the other great thing is that we can use it for design. So we're looking here in the collaboration, we want them to collaborate with the content. We want them to communicate and think about it and work one-on-one with it. So one of the main things that's great about OneNote is that it reaches the three main learning styles: the visual, the auditory, the kinesthetic. It allows us to differentiate the learning, and you saw that in the video prior to. You really get to see if you have a student that's struggling, you can have their notebook open and really examine what they're doing. And we can scaffold their learning by adding these different things, enhancing the learning to help them collaborate with the information and understand it. So some of the ideas with interactive is having a challenge or a problem that is engaging, using rich and interesting websites, having one or more forms of multimedia, so the image, the video, the audio, really kind of enhancing their understanding of that topic overall. One good idea when they say kinesthetic is that an idea of attaching it to some sort of simulation within the notebook. So whether it be an interactive game or they're examining virtual body, right? We're allowing them now to explore and be creative and have multiple forms of expression. And we're allowing this all within one place. So again, here we are. We're collaborating with our peers, with our teachers, and with the content itself in multimedia formats.
For this example, I'm using a first grade reading notebook. I've taken this lesson from a Word document that I created previously. What I did is I copied and pasted directions onto my OneNote notebook. I was able to bring in images by going to the Insert tab and choosing the screen clipping. Once I've assembled my lesson, students are able to now go and work independently on this lesson. The first thing they do is they read the directions. For students who still have difficulty reading directions, they're able to listen to the recorded version of the directions that I provided.
Review the keywords below and then type your prediction for what you think the story is going to be about in the box.
To do that, again, you would go to the Insert tab and choose Record Audio. So students have the option of both reading the directions or listening to them. The next part of the lesson asks students to read the passage provided. Using the audio record tools, students read the passage. When they are finished, they can listen to their recording and decide whether or not they want to re-record. This allows students to practice their reading and feel good about being successful readers.
So that's one example of a student activity that was developed by the teacher so that they could collaborate with the information and be able to understand the content in a whole new way. So some examples that we might consider when developing activities within OneNote class is we can work within individual student notebooks, and they can create their own notebooks with subject tabs and complete their work, which would normally be done on paper. Now they're transferring all that information and storing it in one place so that they can go back and take a look at it, but the teacher can also go and continue looking at it. We've examined the idea of group work. So OneNote works really well for small groups, and making sure that students are on the same page instead of passing a piece of paper around, right? They can really collaborate and make sure they're understanding each other fully. Students can create goals. So maybe it could be just students themselves, with the teachers, with the parents, working towards something for the end of the year, even attaching to that idea of student-led conferences. So a goal at the beginning of the course and where they go. The great thing about this is that they're able to reference. So the teacher is going to add content and put things in, and the students can use the class notebook for a reference. So when the teacher assigns a project or assignment, they can use their rubrics or suggest websites or add simulations, as I said, in order for the students to reference possibly, some additional stuff of what they're doing in class to understand what they're learning about. But when they leave the class, to also be a reminder of what they're doing and multiple ways for them to understand the concepts. Finally, it's that other idea of Turnitin. So we have a place where students can put in their assignments or their journals or whatever task they may be doing, and the teacher has permission to access their notebook. So they can go within the student's personal notebook, and the teacher can score work and provide comments and feedbacks just within the OneNote page. So here we have that collaboration piece again, that Turnitin, that personal space where the students can continue to design and create with their work. Another idea, and we saw that a little bit connected with the idea of reading. So a book project. So a reading group can use OneNote for work on a book project. The teacher can divide them into smaller groups and then have them work and analyze and study a book of their choice or within their level. So they may be talking about characters or setting or plot, and they could be asking questions and recording summaries and working together to build their understanding of that book. Really great when we're looking at Step It Up programs and different, even if they're looking at the idea of working through Shakespeare or different ideas, they can really get a sense together of what it means. And again, we talked about that idea of interactive lesson design, so the curriculum delivery. So we don't just hand out that packet anymore. All of a sudden, they have the OneNote, and they receive their own copy, and they have access to this copy of information and content for the subject at any time and anywhere in any place. When thinking of the idea of tracking math and science, they can definitely put their information in their research when it comes to their science labs and as they're working through tasks in math. But if they are away, just say, for experiments and results, they can go back into their OneNote and examine what happened that day. So even being able to collaborate and understand what's going on in the class when you're away for the day is another great way and great tool in order to enhance the students' learning. Okay, let me just find my way and come back to you here. Hi. So hopefully you were able to build on a few strategies if you're already within OneNote and things that you can do to create collaboration within that space. If you're still working on creating a OneNote class notebook, within Office 365 underneath the video section, there is videos on how to set up the class OneNote. So go into there, take a look. If you still need that, you can go in there and get some help and come back. And in the DP Chats YouTube channel, you can come back and watch this video if you need to look over the strategies and use some of the ideas that we shared today. If you have a chance, please go back to the document that had the YouTube link. And at the bottom, there's an exit survey. And we'd really appreciate if you go into there and there's 3 questions. Give us an idea of how you like today or any suggestions of what you're looking for in future Tech Tuesdays. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. Take care. Have a great day.